Good morning, or shall I say, well, actually it's nearly good afternoon, and welcome to today's Talking Reds. We're here outside the cup of coffee, nearly outside Avenue HQ. Now, obviously it's far too hot for us to be inside on a day like today, but it is still a weekday, there is still people working all around us, so you may hear the occasional bang, but we're here, so all you need to concentrate is on this face and on this face. I've got another guy making his Talking Reds debut here, Mr. Glenn Price, ESPN's Liverpool correspondent. Glenn, welcome.
Hello, Mo. Yeah, what an honour. Nervous about the YouTube comments, to be honest, but I'm sure I'll be fine with that.
Yeah, now Glenn's kind of opposite to Kopi in as much as he certainly doesn't feed off of your criticism. So please be nice to him on his debut. And it seems we've got the Liverpool correspondent here. We should probably start off with some Liverpool news. And the biggest thing that's happened in the last 24 hours, Paul Joyce has announced that it appears Danny Ings will be leaving the club. He's specifically asked to go out and try to get some more regular first team football, and the club have generally said, well, you know what, we like you, you've been a good professional for us, we can understand your reasoning, so we're gonna grant your wish. It's nice when it happens in an amicable way like that, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah, we'll see if it actually does happen that way. But I can imagine it's been a really difficult decision for Ings to make himself personally. I mean, I'm sure he wanted to, move to Liverpool from Burnley to, take his game up to the next level, and that hasn't happened through really no fault of his own. It's just because he's been really unfortunate with injuries, and then the fact that Liverpool have had a really good front line that means it's just not possible to force your way into. Yeah. But he's at the stage of his career now where he needs to play football, especially after 2 seasons that he's missed, and it's probably regular first team actions. It's almost certainly not going to come at Liverpool for him. But I'm sure, Premier League teams have inquired about him in the past. I think in August 2016, Liverpool, turned down an approach worth, at least 20 million for him. I'm not sure whether he'd command that fee now, but we've seen the market go crazy for someone, and especially someone who's scored goals in the league before. So there'll be a lot of suitors for him, and if he does move on, good luck to him, because he's certainly got the right work ethic and attitude that can see why this can be an amicable departure.
Yeah, and I think we've seen from previous departures that our manager, he respects the players that he plays with, and he loves the players he plays with, and if doing something best for them means not us having him anymore, and it means that he's not quite as vital, obviously, to club squad as some of the others, then his club's got no issue with doing that. And I think you're right, in as much as the way that our team has come forward since that first training session with Klopp, where he got injured, to now, shows that as much as he may well still be able to do a very good job for some players, the particulars of our team doesn't really suit him anymore. And you're right, it's such a shame in terms of how he came back from that initial injury, only to then have another one equally as long. And his whole Liverpool career is going to be like a massive what if for him throughout his career. So I really hope that he can still go to another club, possibly within the Premier League, who have a real influence and have a real good career, and maybe add to his 1 England cap so far. But I want to extrapolate it further from just Ings, because there's also been another story in the Echo yesterday stating that Divock Origi is on his way back, and that Jurgen Klopp's planning to give him the pre-season to prove his worth to the team. So it got me thinking about our backup options in general, because I think most people are under the impression that we're not going to go out and spend 30-40 million pounds on a backup striker for Firmino, which, when you look at the makeup of our squad and the way that we play, you can probably see that that's the right thing to do, in terms of we're not going to be able to offer that guy the minutes that you require when you're coming in at that stage. So then we look at our options. Ings looks like he's going to leave. Sturridge looks like he's going to leave. So that leaves us with Dominic Solanke, and then you've got Ryan Brewster, you've got Harry Wilson who can play up front, and then you've got Divock Origi. Okay, Glenn, imagine you're an advisor to Jurgen Klopp. How are you ranking those 4, and who do you think is going to see most minutes this season?
In terms of who I'd reckon to see the most minutes, I reckon Ryan Brewster might have the best chance out of that lot.
Really?
Yeah. Very highly rated, of course, but obviously is coming off a very serious injury, which, he might take a few weeks to get up to speed, maybe months, as was the case with some young players. On Origi, I think although I completely understand why he wasn't everyone's cup of tea, he was sort of a frustrating player to watch, especially given what you knew he could do in that the latter half of the 2015-16 season. He's never come close to living up to that again. But I do think he probably would have been a useful option at times at some point last season. But I guess management at Liverpool obviously thought long term, in the more long term future, it would have been best for him to go out on loan, get experience, play week in, week out every week. It didn't really work at Wolfsburg, did it?
No, it didn't. That's
obviously, some of that is not down to down to him, because it was an unstable club last season. So, but I think it was 36 appearances, 7 goals. Probably would have expected better for a Belgian international.
Yeah, I think from what I've been reading, the story that came out yesterday, Klopp is understanding of those mitigating circumstances, because if for those of you who don't realise, Wolfsburg actually had 3 managers last season, avoided relegation only by the playoffs. One of the goals that Origi scored was actually in those playoffs, so he arguably saved it for the biggest possible time. And he spent most of his time there either playing withdrawn as a striker, withdrawn from a striker, or out wide. He never really got enough game time in his number 9 position where he wants to prove himself. And this is the problem with loans, because I've seen lots of people saying that Harry Wilson himself will probably end up going out on loan, maybe to a Premier League team. But the problem with loaning players out is not only are you not so much influencing how they play, how they train, but you don't know where they're going to play and if they're going to be able to show the skills that you're trying to get out of them yourself. Yeah,
I mean, Liverpool have been in the recent years really selective in where they loan their players, because as you say, it's not down to them whether they play where they play. So I think we saw with the Marco Grujic loan to Cardiff that it was, there were clauses inserted that if he didn't play X amount of games, then Cardiff would have to pay a penalty. And yeah, you can see why they do it, definitely. But the thing with Origi is that he actually had a really good start at Wolfsburg, and I think I remember reading a story about Wolfsburg's sporting director was negotiating with Liverpool to try and make it a permanent deal. So there have been obviously that have only wanted to do that because they've saw something in him, and he started off, he's had a decent start. So there is still maybe a bit of life left in Divock Origi's Liverpool break.
I would like to say, if I was ranking the 4 of them, I would still have him at the top of my list, simply because he's got more in the bank. If you think about the things that he actually did with Liverpool in the first team, and you compare it to what Solanke achieved last season, again, admittedly from limited minutes, I still think that Origi's ahead of him in terms of development, in terms of potential effectiveness for this team. Yeah. And if you look at the midfield that was around him and the 4 other forwards that are around him when Origi was playing for us, and compare that to now, with better players around him, I expect to see a better version of Divock Origi. So I'd like to see us hold on to him, to be honest with you. And as much as I think Ryan Bruce is going to be one who, I agree with you, he is going to get minutes, maybe even Premier League minutes this season. I'd like to think that of the 4 of those, Origi's probably going to end the season with the most appearances, and probably will end with the most goals as well.
Yeah, and pre-season's always a bit misleading, isn't it? Because Solanke was the best player, better than Salah in pre-season, and obviously look how that turned out. And obviously in the pre-season, players are at different levels in terms of fitness and intensity, and obviously you're playing with mixed teams that swap every half or whatever. So, but it is definitely a chance, especially with the World Cup. And people reporting back late. I just think Brewster might, get minutes, because I think it was reported at the time during the contract standoff that Jurgen Klopp promised him a first-team role, and we know Klopp's tries to be big on his word. That said, it's easier to promise someone minutes in June, August, and that, but maybe not when you're in the middle of a Champions League run trying to get the final while trying to win the league as well. So, yeah, but wait and see on that.
Okay. Now, let's move on to some other wider football matters. As you all know, the World Cup's been happening, and the last couple of days have been quite exciting. I think it's fair to say. With the groups coming to their culmination, you get the simultaneous games, which I know for a lot of people can be quite pressurised, can be quite difficult. You've got to make a choice. Do you watch this one? Do you watch that one? I'm here to tell you, you don't have to make that choice. You can watch them both together, just like I do. And that way you get the little quirks, like last night. There was a goal in both games, and there was a penalty in both games at the same time, and you just don't get that if you're watching them one at a time. Now, the big headline, obviously, Argentina got their magical late winner to send them through, scrape them through into the second round at the expense of Nigeria. Now, Glenn, you watched that game.
Yeah.
We've just recorded a World Cup show where we went into great detail about all of the fun and games that Argentina is going to produce, especially their last 16 game against France. But how do you reflect now on the game itself, and in particular the man who scored the first goal?
I'm still not over the 2 touches for Messi's goal, and I think it will take me a while to get over them. It's just absolutely unreal. Gets better every time you watch it as well. And it's quite nice that he's still in the tournament, because it'd been a shame if he wasn't. Argentina have been rubbish, and they're chaotic, don't really control any of the games. But to have, when you've got Messi, someone like who can do that, you're always in with a chance. And if you've got a defender who can also score that goal, you're also in with a chance.
Foot.
Yeah, mental game. Nigeria must be, reeling, because they had a lot of missed chances. But it's just another example of a really intense World Cup game that's left, everyone on the edge of the seat. So, no, I mean, as we said in the World Cup show we've just recorded, then, this World Cup's been every player, every team have seemed to be on sort of an emotional knife edge, in that we've seen, dramatic finishes and players, falling to the knees, Neymar crying at the end of a whistle for a group game. We're not even in the knockout stages yet. An amazing World Cup, and I think the team that can keep their emotions in check might go on and to win it.
I think that's a fair assumption. When we extrapolate it over to today's games, we've got Germany and Brazil both in action, neither of which are favourites to top their group. Brazil currently sit at top of their group, but they've got a tough game coming up against Serbia. It looks like if the results go that way, we could have Brazil against Germany in the last 16. And when you add that to what we've already got with France against Argentina, Portugal against Uruguay, it's looking like this World Cup's only going to get even more interesting as we get into the knockout stages.
Yeah, heavyweight v heavyweight, heavyweight players v heavyweight players. Hopefully, VAR and the referee and all that. Although I've really enjoyed it, actually. I've really enjoyed the drama that it's created. Obviously, we don't have any, sort of investment with either team, so I've really enjoyed the chaos that it's brought, actually.
It has brought some
but
chaos.
I just want to keep talking about really good goals like Messi and stuff, and hopefully, players who have been a bit disappointing this season, and not this World Cup, hopefully they step up in the knockout rounds. Because it will add to an already amazing World Cup.
It will do, and I think when you're thinking about it from an England perspective, there's no one out there who's currently putting in performances that England can't match. That may well change as we go into the last stages, but what are you expecting out of tomorrow's game between England and Belgium? Are you thinking both teams are going to be going for the win, or we might get a bit of a France-Denmark situation where either team will be happy to be in the arguably weaker half of the draw?
I really hope it's not a France-Denmark. What a waste of an afternoon. But hopefully that's the one out of we've got one out of the way. Yeah. Because obviously it was coming. So I think England will particularly want to go for the win. I think, you look at the way Gareth Southgate's scheduled England's friendlies against big teams. You're potentially going against, it's like a dress rehearsal for coming up against a big team in the knockout rounds. And obviously there'll be, you'll try and rest a few players who needs it, but Harry Kane's going to want to play to, just keep scoring. Lingard as well, maybe. I just think it's a perfect opportunity to keep England in rhythm, if it's safe and if it, fitness-wise to do so.
I think, from my perspective as well, another interesting side point for this game is the amount of club mates going up against each other, direct opposition, the likes of Kane against Vertonghen and Alderweireld, for example. And then you've got the Harry Cahill, who's been moved to come back in, who's going to be going up against Eden Hazard. And how that plays out, I think it's going to be really fascinating. In terms of, would it be better for England to finish second rather than first? If you're looking at who would be in that side of the draw at the moment, they'd be in the side with Russia, Spain, and who's the other side? Not Russia, Spain. Well, the harder one is Portugal, Uruguay, France, Argentina. Croatia against Denmark, that's what I was trying to think of. So you look at that and the two splits and you think, yes, England would be better off coming second. But anytime England go into a match where they're not trying to win, they don't do it very well. So if I was Gareth Southgate, I'd be saying, look, let's go out here, let's win this game, and let's deal with everything as it comes to us. There's no point looking too far ahead.
I think it was reported somewhere during the Euros that when Iceland scored a goal that meant that England would be playing Iceland, and some members of the England staff were celebrating that Iceland goal. So, look how that turned out.
Yeah. That's a very good point, actually. If you want any evidence to what I just said, just watch in fact, no, don't watch England Iceland again. Just remember it, save yourself the trouble. Now, there's been more news of a Mo Salah nature. Now, unfortunately, our good friend, he's not had the greatest of times at this World Cup, between the team, between being used as a political pawn, between threatening to retire from the international game, and all these other kinds of stuff. And now there's been another article put out there which is telling Liverpool that we should sell him. It's by someone from your particular parish, so I thought I'd allow you the floor if you wanted to kind of give your thoughts on it. I mean, I imagine they aren't that much different than most people out here, which that article on the internet is not worth the paper it's written on.
I mean, there were points made in this lengthy article that Liverpool should sell Mohamed Salah because his value would never be higher. Even though I work for ESPN, I'm sure they'll welcome different views, but I fundamentally disagree with it, to be honest. Football's not played on a balance sheet, is it? It's not about value. It's probably true that Mohamed Salah's value was at its peak during the Champions League final, but before the injury to what. But his value to Liverpool's also at its peak, and probably, if not greater than his transfer value. Liverpool are trying to win the Champions League again, they're trying to win the Premier League, and having Mohamed Salah along with Firmino and Mane is just crucial to that. So football's not played on balance sheets, and if you look, I think even Liverpool's owners are now realise that it might not have been in the past, but Liverpool's owners, who are businessmen, ruthless businessmen, even they appreciate that football's just not like any other business.
No.
Strange things do happen. So Liverpool definitely should definitely not sell Mohamed Salah.
And as much as we all agree this is kind of a nonsense story, and I don't like giving nonsense stories
It's oxygen. A feature, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't like giving those kind of stories oxygen simply because it kind of creates its own negative narrative. But it does allow me to bring out another point which I want to make about Mo Salah. There's a chance that he might start next season slowly. This might have a hangover, whether it's physical from recovery for his injury, or just the general low of not being able to do everything he wanted to do for his country. He might start slowly next season, he might not score a lot. There's going to be lots of people saying, oh, he's a one-season wonder, he's this, he's that. We, as in fans of Liverpool, the Liverpool squad, we need to stick behind him. He needs us more right now than he's ever needed anyone, in terms of a club and some support. So if we can back him to come back to the form that we know he has got in him, this is going to pay massive dividends later down the road. If you start seeing stories about saying, oh, maybe we should have sold him in the summer, oh, maybe he's not going to be as good, maybe this, maybe that, and you start seeing people doubt him, if he does recover that form and then say another club comes calling, he's going to remember this.
Yeah, and I don't think any Liverpool supporter can say with hand on heart that Mohamed Salah is going to exceed, the season he's just done, because it was a record-breaking season, an incredible season.
Doesn't have to though.
Exactly, yeah. Even if he scores 10, 15 goals less than it's still an incredible season. Exactly. And you've also got other players who stick the ball in the net as well. So, I mean, I think you knew from the second that he injured his shoulder in Kiev that the World Cup, that it wasn't going to be the same World Cup, because it wouldn't be 100% Mo Salah, which is a massive shame. Egypt aren't very good, and Salah has been carrying Egypt, sort of the team itself, on his shoulder, and he's got one bad shoulder. Yeah, so exactly. not exactly fair.
You could almost say that's why he's got one bad shoulder.
It could. Obviously, he'll need a much-needed break. He's had a lot of the spotlight on him for a while. So he goes from Liverpool and then has an even greater spotlight on him in the whole country. So he deserves a break, and should be fit and ready to go by the start of the season.
Here's hoping so. I can understand the feelings of some Liverpool fans to say, I'd rather he just retired, just in a similar way to Joel Matip and the issues that we went with him and his national team, and then in the end he just said, you know what, I'm done with it. I don't need that kind of stress in my life. I think for Mo Salah, I think he kind of does, he needs that connection with his homeland. I think it's really important for him. So the idea for us just to say, oh yeah, it's better off without it, definitely. Maybe from a physical standpoint, that's true. From a mental standpoint, I still think that he needs to have that physical connection with his country.
Yeah, he really likes playing for Egypt, doesn't he? And he's really proud of it. And I know fans will say, I think fans relished when Steven Gerrard hung up his England boots to focus on Liverpool. That didn't really work out well, but maybe different reasons for that. But Jurgen Klopp likes his players to be happy. He sanctioned a private jet for him and Mane to go to that CAF Awards in Ghana, the day before the Everton game. So if he, obviously, managers don't like international breaks and international fixtures because there's a risk of injury and can derail in plans. But if it keeps the players' morale happy and they're willing to come back to a club and they're fit and firing and happy, then it's only in Liverpool's benefit, really, isn't it?
I really don't think it always has to be an either or.
Yeah.
I think when you have a setup that is sometimes a little bit more pressurised, and in circumstances that are pressurised like a World Cup, it can definitely seem like a burden. But I really do think that there's a long lineage of players who've gone away, done great things for their country, and come back energised and ready to go. And we may even see something similar out of Sadio Mane. We may even see it out of Jordan Henderson and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Who knows? Now, the more attentive ones of you out there will know that I am absolutely sweating buckets here. And I've been trying to really kind of subtly dab the sweat away. It's not working. So, a segue into, I will not be appearing on the Anfield Wrap US tour this year, which is probably a good thing because I can't even handle the weather here in England. But I should announce exactly when those tour dates are going to be for those of you who missed yesterday's show. Now, kicking off on July 21st, we're going to be at Flight in Charlotte, North Carolina. And moving on to the 24th in New York City, the Boot Room, which, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be an absolute cracker for any of you who are in that area, so definitely get yourselves down. And finishing off on the 27th in Detroit at Thomas McGee's. That's the 3 dates of the tour. Now, it's going to be the Mount Rushmore of the Anfield Wrap, I think is what we call them. Yeah. It's going to be
I'm there as well.
Okay, the Mount Rushmore and Glenn. So yeah, Neil's going to be there, Gibbo's going to be there, Gareth's going to be there, Craig's going to be there. You're going to get to see them all. You're going to be doing some live shows. You're going to be doing some little bits around the live shows as well. So if you're an American fan, look out for that one. It's going to be 3 fantastic things for us to come out there. And don't forget Liverpool playing as well. So there's going to be some fantastic matches. You maybe get a chance to watch the games with some of these guys. Maybe not watch the game right next door to Craig. He gets a little bit emotional, especially if we're not doing well, but I'll leave that to your discretion. Now, just before we leave here, I just want to do an announcement about some of the shows we've got coming out today. As I've already mentioned, there's a World Cup show that we've literally just recorded, which will be coming out, I'd say it's coming out not long after you've started watching this video. Not long after you started watching this video. After doing this video, Glenn here himself is going to be recording The Gutter with Rob Gutman, who some of you more attentive viewers may have noticed come past in the background of this video a few minutes ago. Has he given you an agenda of what you're going to be talking about?
Yeah, it's very little news been happening, but Rob delves right into the gutters to get 40 minutes out of it.
He absolutely loves it. He'll find some existential transfer question to kind of needle you on, or maybe he'll take the opportunity to talk about Fekir again, seeing as they played yesterday. Who knows? Something else that's happening later on today is a very bit special. The Anfield Wrap quiz is being recorded now. This quiz has taken on some kind of legendary status over the years. It's something I've heard about for the last 2 years, and I've never quite been involved. I suspected previous years that I was being kept out for fear of my crowning victory. So here's a chance for me to put my money where my mouth is. We're recording it later today. I don't know whether it's coming out later today. It might end up coming out tomorrow. But when you see me with the trophy next Wednesday, you'll know why. Tomorrow we've got Gareth coming up, and he's another very special guest he's going to have with him minutes already, I believe. So prepare to be impressed for more transfer news coming from that show. But for now, go out and enjoy the sunshine. I'm about to find myself a very dark, wet towel up the Reds.